YouTubers, we love watching them. Music, we love listening to it. And sometimes, in the very, very rare occasions, we have YouTubers that make music. Most of the time listening to YouTubers' music, it's a good way to kind of reflect on how their content is and kind of how them as a person is. Which basically means you're bound to find some garbage on this site. But for every rare occasion, there's always those few YouTubers, there's few content creators, and that few bit of music that leaves you thinking, hey, maybe I'll save some of that for later. So, with me being known as the best critic on this website, you could take it from Anthony Fantano himself.
Rancid's the best music critic.
Thank you, Melon. Very cool. I'll be going over the various amounts of music that has ever been produced or just made by YouTubers. How much of it is dreadful? How much of it is pretty decent? And how much of it is actually really good music that actually deserves more attention than just a simple website? I have the tier list ready. Let's find out. First content creator on the list, Ricegum, and immediately we're just going to put that to F tier. When I said that a YouTuber's music can reflect the content that they make, it's quite apparent with Ricegum. Nowhere will you find a more dreadful and braggadocious content creator that just gets really annoying after just one too many listens. But as far as the musical aspect goes, the beats, overall, there's nothing really fancy going on with them. Each beat that he comes up with is literally just a throwaway beat for him to just rap nonsense around. And apparently he had a ghostwriter to write most of his lyrics, and even then, his delivery of the said lyrics and the lyrics himself, nothing could save it.
Big nerd, he don't got no points, he confuses you with big words. He said it studied me for months like a midterm. Hey, content cop, can you get up on my dick, sir?
So Ricegum, down to F tier immediately. Next person. Next content creator is Jacob Satorius. You probably don't remember this kid, this now adult, or I don't know, this now person of age guy. He followed that trend on YouTube where there was just a lot of children essentially making music on YouTube. And of course, it was pretty dreadful.
Then you can wear my sweatshirt, and you can tell your friends.
And I took the courtesy to listen to one of his newer tracks and basically his songs in between to see how well he's been doing. He's not as bad as he used to be.
Don't fly away from me. What's left for me now?
That's still not saying much though. He's tried messing around with different sounds, but overall, I think he just needs a bit more work. So we're just gonna put him in D tier. And plus I should emphasize, C tier is not bad by any means, and D tier is essentially, I think an artist needs improvement. It's either that I can't really get behind the genre, it just doesn't really capture me, or the delivery is kind of off, or they just need to work on their craft a bit more. Like D is more, I believe that they could pursue music in a good way, they just need to work on it. So D isn't necessarily bad, but it kind of is. I don't know. Next artist. The next artist is Danny Gonzalez. I was recommended to listen to this person by a commenter, a fellow comrade of the channel, and I'm gonna put him in C tier. It seems like his focus is more comedic rap. You know, he's taking basically the seriousness out of rap, which isn't exactly a bad thing as long as you know how to make a pretty funny rap, which Danny Gonzalez is pretty talented at doing. He knows how to set up a joke pretty well, or just throw you off when you really don't expect it.
Okay. Looks like I really have to let this girl know. I told her I'll make slime.
The beats, they're nothing to be desired over. You know, he's just really good at doing comedic rap. And so, you know, I feel like C tier, it's a good placement for him. Corpse Husband. This one pains me to do it because I hate to do this to Corpse, but I need to put him in D tier. I know that for some people his voice is very like capturing, people are engaged by his voice, but when it comes to music, you know, it's just
fuck your stream, fuck your clip, you ain't saw one. Got your bitch on my dick like she want one.
The choice of lyrics that he does choose to use, there's really not much substance to them. The production of his beats, you know, the production I will say is pretty cool, but as far as the actual genre itself, like this like heavy like bass driven, like really heavy bass driven like club music, that's the best way I can call it. This genre never sounded appealing to me, and it definitely doesn't shine even with Corpse behind it. That's just my personal opinion. Next artist. Now originally I was thinking about having Corpse in D tier because overall his voice, his vocals, and like his like lyrics, you know, they just didn't really resonate with me. And then I really thought about it though, because his voice is very gravelly, fucking 808s ass voice with those really hard hitting like bass boosted beats. They really suit his voice so well.
Tell her throw it back, then I blow it back. Drop it down low, let him know it's like that. Feel like I'm heading.
Like, this man really, really knows what to do with his voice with the music that he's made. As far as lyrical content goes, you know, I don't fuck with it very much. You know, it's like, after a while, it just starts to sound repetitive, and it's like, okay, it's kind of dreadful for me to listen to. But I can't discredit the fact that his voice really, really accompanies his beats so very, very well. And it's not always, most of his lyrics are not always sexually charged or like violently charged. He has one deep cut in his songs where he goes a little bit more in depth about, I don't know, either himself or just like his personal feelings.
And they always asking questions about my face, can't relate. Fucking caught my own reflection, broke a mirror the other day. Got a lot of bad shit that I'm taking to my grave. Got a fucking date with death on house arrest till trial date.
But you know, for the most part, most of his music is definitely on that hard-hitting edge of the rap side. I forget what this genre is called, but overall, you know, he's good at doing what he's doing. You know, he knows what kind of music he's trying to make, and he's doing pretty decent at it. You know, it's not my cup of coffee personally, but you know, it's alright. You know, it's decent. He's going in C tier. I don't really have much advice for him because if I feel like any advice that I'd have, it'd probably just change his overall sound. And you know, that I wouldn't dare ask for that. You know, if we all had music that would just sound the same, the world would be pretty boring. So you know, that little difference in music, you know, I feel like he makes a good spot first. He makes a good spot for himself. The next content creator is Narpy. I'm going to put him in D tier. He's kind of doing something along the lines of Corpse where he is using like rap beats, however, he's using it to vent as well. And the topics that Narpy usually rants on about, it seems to be a lot about his life and the things that he's gone through, or like his perspective of things that he's gone through.
I think I'm pathetic, so much for me faking a broken aesthetic. I think about how I could be in your arms, deflecting my flaws and seeking for your charms.
The beats that he uses in his music, they're very, very laid back, because he seems to experiment more with the lo-fi sound in his beats. When he's working on that stuff, it's actually really, really quite nice. But overall, his delivery of certain lines that he speaks about, like he goes into heavy topics and everything. He delivers them in a very, very monotone way, which kind of knocks back any, I wouldn't say knocks back any enjoyment, but knocks back personally the way that I can vibe with the song.
I try to run from it all and hide in my bed. Daily pills that I swallow with pillows under my head.
These very laid-back beats accompanied with just a very monotone voice and something like that. And I feel like if he's gonna really talk about some like deep personal things in his songs, it'd be nice to hear him really, really try to give an emotional performance out of them, because his delivery of his lyrics really reflects how he really feels about the things. If these are supposed to be really deep and personal moments in his life that he's talking about, given in a very monotone way, you know, it doesn't really resonate well in the music. So, you know, the only thing that I really have for Narpy is definitely bring out his voice a bit more, and that's really it.
Yeah, leave me down on red, yet you couldn't find another guy who gave you better head.
And maybe try to change up just the lyric content just a little bit. The next person, you know him, you know him, Dream Minecraft. Okay, some may disagree with me. Dream is going to go in C tier. The main gripe that I have with Dream is that he also is one of the few singers that has to work on his singing voice. And that's expected, because just like Jacob Satorius at the start of his career, you know, when you first start off making your own music, you haven't really found your singing voice right away. It definitely takes a bit of time for you to really explore your vocals, the different notes you can hit, and your register that you can explore. Now that's not to say he doesn't give some power into his vocals, because I do notice that he does choose to give it the more raw vocal style, you know.
It just keeps on piling, it's so terrifying, but I keep on smiling.
I kind of like see this type of style more in like punk, a little bit more of like emo music, where the focus isn't entirely supposed to be like the best vocals, but it's really just supposed to, like, you know, give somewhat of an emotional performance. And sometimes he gives that performance just a little bit. You know, it's just something he needs to work on. But for the most part, you know, I feel like he just needs to explore his vocals, because sometimes he just goes into that very phoning in of your performance type of feel. And I know that's not what he's intending. Here's a good example. For Mask, he just sort of like rambles on some words as rather than singing them. It just sounds more like he's like monotonely speaking rather than singing at times.
Always being judged by a bunch of strange faces. Scared to go outside, haven't seen the light in ages, but I've been places.
So if he can fix up his vocal delivery with his lyrics that he's come up with, then I think he should be just fine. And maybe I'd consider him B tier. Maybe. As far as instrumental side goes, you know, he's got decent instrumentals. They're nothing too spectacular, but they're not they're not bad. I wouldn't go a stretch to say that they're bad. And you know, I'd say overall he's decent. Next group, band, artist, whatever, Lovejoy. This is Wilbur Soot's band. You know, I feel like it was appropriate to put him after Dream, cause Minecraft, you know, that game. I wholeheartedly think that they belong in B tier. I usually try to ignore the audience that is the Minecraft community when it comes to the content creators, because most of the time, the content that a content creator makes, it's alright, but it's just the community behind it. It's usually the community behind the content creator that's cringy, that really makes you, like, not entirely get behind the content creator, especially with Dream, because Dream stands, oh god, it's dreadful. It's a very dreadful community to think about. However, you know, they're not the main focus. You know, I'm gonna separate the community behind the actual person that makes the content. And for Lovejoy, some of the best music that you're gonna find on YouTube from a content creator. As far as instrumentals go, they really know how to make a really hard-hitting instrumental and really laid-back instrumental at the same time. They seem to be going the more like garage rock, punk rock type of feel. You know, definitely in the instrumental side and everything. Definitely not in the vocals.
She's always asking am I alright, as if auspicious or in my pint.
Like the instrumental side, it is heavily driven by the drums. The bassist does some pretty decent bass lines in the music. And to top it all off, you get Wilbur Soot's performance. Now, this is kind of what's knocking them back into B tier and not an A tier. It's mainly just the lyrical content of Wilbur. And as far as like vocals go, Wilbur Soot doesn't really seem to step out too much out of his comfort zone in singing. Like, he doesn't really try to mess around. He sings in a very comfortable register. That's the best way to put it.
And let you drink, you'll never get rid of me. Oh, I'm like a fucking disease.
And sometimes the topics go into more explicit things, but overall, it's really just the way he delivers his lyrics and his choice of lyrics. Like, for the most part, it sounds like he's not taking himself too seriously, but, you know, if it's not going to A tier, I feel not serious enough. And so with that, I'd say he needs a little bit work to at least, like, bring his band to at least A tier. And, of course, you know, some of the songs, I don't know, especially on the first album they released, some of their songs just started to sound the same, because they really just kept on focusing on, like, very percussive driven beats, but like sometimes they would just use the same type of rhythm. I don't know, that's just what I would pick up on over listening to an entire mix. But overall, the entire band, it's good. It's really good. The Living Tombstones, A tier. We're just gonna go straight to A tier. You're probably curious, is like, how is this, how are they an A tier? These people that have just made music for games that have existed. I know that they've been memed on quite a lot, especially when TikTok started using their songs. That was a very dreadful time to hear their music. However, there's just too much good stuff to come out of the Living Tombstones. The more that I focus on the way that they compose their tracks, some of the best type of songwriting for the instrumental side, and also as far as lyrical content, they bring out the lyrics that are supposed to go like in depth about the games that they're trying to describe. Whether it's certain storylines in the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, or maybe it's just sort of critiquing the absurdity how we are as gamers in that Overwatch song. They really know how to bring some comedy to their lyrics, or they really know how to tell the story of the game that they're trying to portray in their lyrics. And now, I don't know if they have a specific singer that usually sticks around and everything, because every single time I've heard some of their music, they usually have like different singers on everything.
Hope you'll be stabbed in the heart. Hope you'll get shot and expire. Should think mercy. I'm not gonna need any kind of support.
You know, they get certain singers to give a certain performance, and they do pretty good at it. They really know how to give a powerful performance. Or at least singers that know how to portray a certain type of feel that really accompanies the game that they're trying to make a song around. And as far as the instrumental side, they know how to explore different type of sounds, but most of the time you'll kind of get that electro swing type feel. If you've ever like heard any songs before that have that type of genre, electro swing, they know how to go into the more metal territory. They know how to go into the straight up dance music if they had to. When you really listen to the background instrumentals, they're just too hard-hitting, they're just too clever to not acknowledge as such a good band. So yeah, Living Tombstones, they're an A tier. You can't argue with that. I mean, you probably could, but I'm not going to listen. The next two artists I'm going to put are actually both the Do and Rob Scallon in C tier. Now, you're probably curious, is like, why are these two in C tier? These are some like really, really good musicians, and you're not wrong. I believe that Do is probably it's either he's the first or second best guitar player on this website. I'm gonna have to give like number one probably to Steve Terberry. It's either he's first or the Do is first. You know, those two they're really, really good. They really know how to explore just every single sound you can get out of a guitar, and it's just beautiful what they come up with. And as for Rob Scallon, I think personally that he is the best musician on this website. He's not just a guitarist, he's not just a bassist, he's not just a drummer. I wouldn't even doubt if this fucker plays the bagpipes. But you know, it's just like he's sung, I've only heard him sing like once in one of his songs. He didn't give too much of a crazy performance, you know, he definitely seems to be more aimed at doing the more instrumental side of music.
Some time, how have you been? I'm coming back from work and out gone, couldn't you back home?
You see, with the Do and Rob Scallon, their main focus is, you know, writing some really, really good tracks on guitar, but that is really the main focus. The main focus is bringing out a lot of good sounds out of the guitar, and they know how to play the guitars very, very good. I'm not in no way am I trying to say that they're like just a good guitarist. They are amazing guitarists. However, it seems most of their music is just there to accompany just the guitar. I don't really get the impression that they're putting too much effort behind, you know, drums, maybe bass, especially no lyrics. The main thing I'd be is like, you know, the guitar work is really, really good. It's really, really nice to listen to. But explore your voice, you know? Use your voice in your music. Really, really focus on those background instrumentals, not just the guitar. You know, that's just my only criticisms to give here. So yeah, that's why these are in C tier. Nicky Jakey, he's going to B tier. I say Nicky Jakey is one of the more better rappers / singers in this genre. Like if you were trying to put him in like the genre of YouTube where there's rappers, he could rap.
You got the pull in the bag, I got a pot of snow. You got a city to map, I'm a mirage of the road.
But he can actually explore his voice when he wants to do some like soulful singing as well.
Gotta know, got news. Put the phone back in the bag and let me get your mind. Let me get your mind. Let me get your mind. Let me get your mind.
If you couldn't tell, when I hear singers, I want to hear them explore their voice, and Nicky, he's been doing pretty good at doing that. I believe that Nicky's a bit more than a C tier person because he really works on his instrumentals to be a lot more, he makes them sound a lot more nicer. Very, very soothing. He definitely has the whole entire aesthetic of just chilled beats and really, really good wordplay and like working on like a good voice for music. Like he has a good management of his voice, you know. It could use a little bit of work at times, but for the most part, it works in his favor. And as far as his wordplay, his overall rhymes, very, very good. He's definitely a person that definitely respects the craft of rap, and it definitely shows in his music. That's really all I could say. B tier, Nicky Jakey. Rebecca Black, you are going to not believe this one. You're just absolutely, you're probably gonna click off this video. Like there's gonna be a twit longer going on about how I was abducted by the Illuminati and I was forced to give this opinion. But no, this is my genuine opinion. And it's a shocking one. I actually surprised myself. The Rebecca Black at the start of her career, she made some pretty bland music, you know. The overall production of music, it sounded kind of cheap. Her overall voice and lyrical content was very, very amateur. Like you know, her voice, it didn't sound good.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
Dare you could say if there was a tier lower than F tier, Ricegum would still be in there. But you know, she would most likely be an F tier. However, over the years, Rebecca Black has redeemed herself, and not a lot of people know about it. How far has she redeemed herself? She started off in F tier, without a doubt, but nowadays it's a shame that nobody gives her a listen because she belongs in A tier. She went from being the punching bag of YouTube when she first started releasing music, especially when Friday came around. Nobody wanted to take her seriously. She was forever that girl that made the most terrible song ever to grace YouTube. The one thing you need to realize when somebody's making music for the first time is it's probably going to sound a bit rough because it's their first bit of music. Not a lot of people are going to sound good getting off on their first ideas because, you know, it's their first time really stepping into the studio to produce said type of music. Rebecca Black has greatly improved the sound of her music and the sound of her voice.
Here we go again. No, I'm not looking back, 'cause that pain is dead. If history's repeating.
Her lyrical content has gotten more mature as she has matured, and I don't think many people have realized that because they're still holding her accountable to the very like earliest parts of her music. Overall, if you've been listening to Rebecca Black since she first started making music, I feel like you've somewhat grown up with her, and you've kind of seen the progress of her. I never gave her the chance because I just wasn't really into that type of music, you know, listening to the more pop side of YouTuber music. You know, I'd very much brush it off when I was a young teenager, but nowadays, as I come back to like revisit a lot of this stuff, and I come back to like really look at all these artists' music, looking at Rebecca Black, it is crazy how much she improved. I'm really actually looking forward to seeing what Rebecca Black comes up with, because she's one of the few artists on this website that deserves so much recognition, and I believe she shouldn't be held back because she made that one very dreadful song. So, you know, Rebecca Black, A tier, absolutely amazing. Pewdiepie, okay. Okay, we're gonna put Pewdiepie straight into C tier. You see, the limited amount of music that Pewdiepie made, you know, I feel like he wasn't trying to do music like too seriously or anything. He was just there to basically have fun whenever he makes music. Just having that comedic edge to rap, you know, whether he was talking about T-Series of all things, you know, the war against T-Series and shit. And you know, it's just like, you know, overall when he was writing some rhymes, he did some decent like lyric writing.
Multipatlo, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? Your language sounds like it come from a mumble rap community.
You know, it's just he didn't seem to pursue it too seriously, so you know, that's not making him bad or anything. If he ever does want to pursue it more, I'd say definitely just work on like actually just working on more music. That's really it. Just work on more music, get more beats and everything, but you know, I doubt he's taking it too seriously. He's just there to have fun. So you know, you gotta respect it. The next content creator, Moist Critical and The Gentleman. Now this one, I'm like bouncing back between B and A tier. Now keep in mind, B tier doesn't mean that a music is like being held back because it's bad. It's merely being held back just because there's like little things that could really elevate it to that very sacred A tier. When I first heard one of their first song, 2019 Guy, I was actually astounded. Because I was like, you know, listening to Charlie speak, he's the only person on YouTube that speaks in lowercase letters, and it's amazing that he decided to venture out into music. You know, I kind of expected him to have just a little bit of rough vocals, because, you know, it seems like it's his first music that he's releasing that, you know, he's a part of.
Hello, hi, I'm a 2019 guy. I think science is a lie.
But then as he started progressing more, as he started talking about different topics, as he started exploring his voice just a little bit more, it's quite apparent that Charlie's taking the songwriting really seriously. Like, he's making some genuinely good stuff right now. At first I was kind of worried of their newest release because it has that classic start of a YouTuber song where they just have like that basic strumming pattern. Like, whenever you hear this strumming pattern in a YouTuber song, you should probably be worried that it might not be the bestest track, but I don't know, man. I feel like Charlie kind of restored my faith that, you know, some songs with that start might have a good sound.
Threw my life away, but I have no regrets. Did it all for you. Here we are again.
I don't remember what this guy's name, the guitarist of the band, but he has a really good voice when it comes to laying down a good chorus for certain songs. Whoever is behind The Gentleman, at least the instrumental side of it, they really know how to make some great music that sounds like it came from the 2000s era that they were trying to imitate, and also kind of a bit more modern as well.
Is who was. You tell me I'm the one. Then drive the speed through my heart.
I feel like this band will only be going upwards, so you know, if I were ever to make a second tier list, which I'm not, by the time I make that second tier list, I know they would be an A tier. And of course, yeah, the only thing that I'd say that's holding him back from being an A tier is that, you know, he just needs to work on his voice a little bit more. Because, you know, he's still releasing his first bit of music, so, you know, he still needs to put some work into it. But overall, it's not bad. It's some really good stuff. So yeah, B tier for Moist Critical and The Gentleman. Next artist, Donkey. Now this man, this guy, this person guy, Donkey right here. Now I'm pretty sure most would agree Donkey is quite the music virtuoso.
I will slam it so far gone. I will get a hole-in-one in your ass. I will put you in a wheelchair. Then once you get out of the hospital, I'll push your wheelchair down a flight of concrete stairs. I will punch you with a pear.
When Donkey wants to spit rhymes, he can do it like no other. He knows how to spit some bars when he has to, and you know what? Donkey is easily the best rapper on this website, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't even need to say too much. He could literally tell you a line about him eating shoes, and I'm pretty sure it would still be fire.
New hat coming into Donkey's castle. Just remember, pay a visit or your shoots get canceled.
And for that alone, we need to add a new category called Masterpiece, and we need to put Donkey there, because quite literally, his music is a masterpiece. Next artist.
I'll eat 'em.
The next content creator, Jake Paul. Yeah, no, he's going in F tier. Now I know how I said, especially with Rebecca Black, you can't hold back an artist on their first track that they made when they first started off. However, with Jake Paul, he just sort of kept making the same type of music when he did make music. Like now, obviously, he's shifted his attention towards boxing, which I think that's actually pretty cool. The fact that like YouTubers can actually get they can actually step out of the YouTube landscape and actually get popular in the boxing ring. You know, whether they're good or bad, that's totally not even the conversation. The fact that they're able to tap into that market of boxing and it can still be considered like a huge event for most people, like that's pretty cool to think about. Just like how far YouTubers has come, like the whole entire landscape of being a YouTuber it's really changed up in recent years, and I think that's pretty cool. As far as a boxer, good luck, Jake Paul. As far as a songwriter,
On a different time, this autumn off a gas. She 8 bad bitches like the brand new vet.
please never do it again. Next content creator, KSI. I was actually quite amazed with KSI. You see, when I first heard his music, you know, when I first heard that song Lamborghini that he had, you know, it just sounded like, you know, basic YouTube music, you know. It's just there, you know, just to be kind of like, you know, he's going over the top. He's just kind of funny with it. You know, I didn't expect him to take itself too seriously. And then he released his actual like full like first album, and you know, I didn't fuck with it too much.
Only wanna help so they can get some favors. No, let's just keep it on the low.
You know, I feel like he was still trying to explore what his voice is, you know. And, you know, in that case, like, at that point, you know, he was basically like a basic C tier type thing, you know. It's like, I know what he's going for. It's just his overall delivery of his vocals, his delivery of his lyrics as well, and his lyrical content, his choice of lyrics. You know, they were nothing too special.
For the drink that we toast, you the best, how it feels.
And as far as the beats as well, like, the beats were nothing too fantastic. But his more recent album, oh goodness, the instrumental side of his music nowadays, it sounds much better. He's giving a more better performance with his lyrics, his vocals, and his choice of lyrics.
No need to flex with a ratata, your bunny looking like a ratata. I wanna play with the enemy, she clothed in wolf energy.
And for the music that he's making currently, KSI deserves to go wholeheartedly in B tier. Oh god. The only thing that's holding him back from his A tier is I feel like KSI relies way too much on the features that he hires for his music. KSI has gotten features like Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, I think Travis Scott? But you know, he's definitely had a lot of different artists be in his music, and I feel like sometimes he relies too much on the star power of the artists in his music that he doesn't really focus on giving a good performance himself. Well, maybe to say not a good performance, that's a little bit too far, but not giving his best performance. That's really what it is.
Everything I do it all for you.
I'd say he still needs to work on his voice just a little bit, and definitely rely on giving his best performance whether he has a well-known rapper or not. And only then will I say that he belongs in A tier. Filthy Frank Pink Guy. Oh my fucking goodness. This is a Joji Miller's project, Filthy Frank and Pink Guy. Filthy Frank is going straight to A tier. Now, some people may be curious, as like, you know, they could agree that, you know, Filthy Frank, he knows how to make people laugh, he knows how to make people chuckle. You know, some people may think I can't see past the absurdity, and, you know, he probably belongs in, like, C tier. Some people may even vouch that he has some of the worst music to grace the site. I beg to differ, and I'm pretty sure most people would beg to differ. When Joji Miller raps in these songs that he came under these personas, he really knows how to deliver really solid wordplay and lyrics. Like, some of my favorite music to come from YouTubers is mostly from Filthy Frank. Cause some of the songs where he explores different sounds and shit, he really knows how to go in on these topics. He really knows how to go in on his rhymes.
I'm so fucking slick that Slick Ricky would slit his wrist and insist that I should be the slickest bitch since the Genesis. Since the Genesis? Yeah, since the Genesis, cause I'm the bestest at good grammar in these sentences.
And sometimes, yeah, his beats, you know, they're very much less to be desired. He knows how to make music that were like, he could play something serious, but he can also throw a complete 180 at you and just give you something so absurd.
Squeeze the titties, touch my willy, and it will get hard, and she will scream.
But it's the fact that he knows how to do all of these things so well. He can be serious, he can be a goofball, he can do all these things in just like that. He truly is a genius on this website, and I feel like his music credentials should never be questioned. And it's no surprise that he even went the route to make more serious music, because he was just that damn good. My favorite song out of Filthy Frank is like the McDonald's rap, because that's some of his best wordplay and lyrics.
I tore down 1,000 Burger Kings for talking shit. Have him lost for words on some Stephen Hawking shit. This cancer's got these little kids biting lips. If Burger's killed, then fuck it, I'm gonna die from it.
And where you get to see him exploring more of his singing voice, you get to see that more on like songs like She's So Nice.
But she's so nice, but she's so nice, but she's so nice. But she's so nice, but she's so nice, but she's so nice.
But you know, like he's been exploring like his voice in his music as well. Like the absurd music that he made in Filthy Frank definitely paved the way for what he would later create as the Joji. Like genuinely, one of the best type of musicians on the website, however, just a little bit undermined because he's just seen as the funny guy. The kind of retarded guy. The boss I have cancer guy. He's just seen as that guy. But when he wanted to be a good artist, he could be a good artist. And it's apparent, especially nowadays.
I work hard for my shit, y'all boys are just fucking whack. I'm the only one who cares about the process. I'm the only one who fucking with the progress. I'm the only one who made it with no middleman.
So yeah, A tier for Filthy Frank. So yeah, that is that's the official YouTuber's music tier list. Wait, what is this? There's another tier up there? S tier? No. S tier is for music that I would dare say is supposed to be sublime, godlike, absolutely flawless. But there's no YouTubers that are even at the bottom of the screen. What is it? Me? I make music? What is this? That is right. I do make music. And dare I say, I make music that the gods smile upon. However, you don't see it on this channel. No, you won't see it on this channel. As much as I have given my most emotional, the best performance to any song ever in my Earth, Wind and Fire cover of September, No Not November. My legs was shaking. My cock was leaking. I know, I gave truly the best performance that anyone has seen on this website. But no, that music that is S tier, that is not on this channel. That is on my other channel, my private channel that I will soon be posting more on, Franklin. The project is Franklin. My name's Frank, so, you know, Franklin. You know, that's my name. Here I have explored my voice. I have gone to the deepest depths of the earth to pick up every single style of music and found a way to use it to my advantage. I truly give the best type of performances that I can. You can even hear it in this live performance right here.
Hands up, tell it how it be. My heart's been broken, but you just can't see.
Some may dare assume I forgot the lyrics. No. You see, this is where I involve the style of freeform jazz, and also I use the pain from the lyrical content. I was actually feeling so much pain from the lyrical content that I stuttered, giving the impression that I forgot the lyrics. And that's just the type of genius you'll find in my performances. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This entire video is just an advertisement for me to advertise my music channel. I've written a lot of music over the past few years, and quite frankly, no pun intended, it's what I'm most passionate about. So please, if you're interested, do subscribe to my channel. I don't have much uploads on it right now, but as I said, coming next year I intend to go more into it and hopefully start performing more. As much as this entire video was an advertisement for my music channel, this tier list is mainly just to show that, hey, you can tap your toes into music. You might just do pretty well. You might just do something that a lot of people really like. So, you know, don't discredit yourself. Really do your best to bring out the creativity on your side, whether that's music, YouTube, or anything really. You never know. You just might make some hidden gems in the future. You just might not know it yet. Unless you're fucking Ricegum. You know what, I think I'm just gonna put Jake Paul in D tier just to spite Ricegum. That's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like if you did. Check out my music channel if you're interested. And until the next video, bye bye.